Kyle, what happened last night? We had Korean Zombie versus Brian Ortega, and I'm still shocked at what happened. I feel like Brian was supposed to go in there and just get killed. That was the plan. Am I right? Like Korean Zombie was supposed to go in there, win decisively. That's what me and most of the fans kind of thought.
Well,
And you think about Brian Ortega's 17-year layoff that he took, and you think, well, is this a bad thing? Is this a good thing? I thought he was just recovering from damage, eating Cheetos on his futons and whatnot.
no,
I,
I like what you said the first time.
on his
I'm gonna
croutons.
throw.
I don't know. I'm surprised. What do you
Yeah,
think
you
about
sound
it?
surprised. I'm gonna throw a fastball at you, Matthew. We're
Go.
not gonna talk about this fight. We're gonna talk about Teofimo Lopez and Vasiliy Lomachenko
Hey, let's
instead.
do it.
No, I'm just kidding. I do want to talk about that later, but
You
I think
watch
the
boxing
I
on an
watched this.
MMA channel?
I watched this
Oh,
boxing
that's
match
true.
because
That's a good one.
it was terrific.
Yeah.
Um, it's an MMA fan's dream boxing match, which I mean I'll go into a little bit later as to why that is. But as far as Brian Ortega and the Zombie, I mean I think the main story of that whole competition was just variety. Brian Ortega came out with a variety of things that we've never seen from him before. So for one, he did land some takedowns, I believe, like one or two. He attempted a few, but they were more so a diversion tactic. Did we see any submission attempts from him?
You saw one when he had Korean Zombie against the cage. He was trying to set up what was like a guillotine, but it didn't really amount to anything at all. Korean
Okay,
Zombie's pretty good at defending that kind of thing. So,
okay.
yeah, not
So
really.
we saw a few takedown attempts. We saw not really any submission attempts. We saw a ton of jabbing to the face, to the straights to the body, kicks to the leg, kicks to the body. He just came out here with a a plethora of new things that we haven't seen from him before, and I think that's why everyone underestimated him, myself included, going into this fight. I mean, you can't take a 2 year layoff and not expect people to have a ton of questions when you come back. Especially, it's not like he took a 2 year layoff and, you know, before that, everything was going great. No, he got brutally beaten by Max Holloway and then disappeared for 2 years and had a gazillion surgeries. So there were certainly a lot of questions going into this about where he was at, how he was doing. Was this the Brian Ortega of old? Was this a worse version? Was this a new and improved version? And of course, it was that. It was a new and improved version in just about every way. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, I've never seen KZ get dominated like that. I've never seen Brian Ortega perform at such a high level and do so well. Um, I mean, it's everything you want in a comeback fight, you know, when you've been gone for such a long time and people are very much doubting your skill sets and your future in the division, you know, a former title contender and now, you know, fell off the face of the earth as he said himself. It's everything you want in that kind of comeback performance. He's showing new stuff, new skills. The old stuff still looks solid, but the new stuff is even better. I mean, that was some insanely good striking. Like that was high. That was really, really high level striking.
That's
We don't.
striking that I could see Max Holloway having fun with, like actually being
Yeah,
competitive with. I think this opens the door for so much for Ortega. And to think that yesterday we were thinking that, oh, Brian Ortega's kind of washed up. He's on his way out after what happened with Max, even though that was only one fight. It's just it's crazy to me just see how far he's come. And like you were saying, he looks like he's at the top end of the striking game, and I thought that's never something I thought I'd say about Ortega. He really reinvented himself as an actual MMA guy.
yeah. I mean, everyone knows him for his jujitsu game, which I'm sure is still. I don't think you know you lose that, right? Like that's a lifelong you know he's built that skill set up over a lifetime. That's not going anywhere. But I mean, yeah, this new striking game is a force to be reckoned with, and I think the question is now is, do you give T City a title shot, or do you give him one more first?
I
Maybe a
think
max rematch.
I think they're gonna give him a title shot, and that's a really tough question to answer on who would win that title shot. Would Volkanovski be able to stop Ortega? Would Ortega be able to stop Volkanovski? Because if you think about it, I mean, Volkanovski's got great striking, but his foundation is wrestling. I know he doesn't use it much, but that's kind of what it is. And Ortega has jiu-jitsu like no one else. I mean, that kind of nullifies his wrestling a good bit, wouldn't you say? So it probably becomes a striking match. And what I saw last night against someone like Korean Zombie, who outclassed someone like Yair Rodriguez for 5 rounds, I mean, aside from what happened at the end, it just
Yeah.
that's a really tough question. I really don't know. I would probably lean on Alex just because, we see him beat Max Holloway twice.
Well,
That's no easy
second
feat.
time was dicey.
Yeah, that was dicey. But even holding your own against Holloway
Yeah.
is pretty impressive. And we never got to see obviously Brian Ortega do that. But will Brian Ortega 2.0 be able to stand with someone like Volkanovski, Max Holloway? I'm leaning on yes. I'm really impressed. That I read an update from that fight, and apparently Korean Zombie doesn't remember rounds 3, 4, and 5. After that elbow at the end of the second round, everything just went to hell for him. He was on autopilot. But that doesn't take away from Ortega, because those first 2 rounds, incredible.
Oh,
Incredible.
you're talking about the spinning elbow that Ortega
Yes.
threw.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were referring to Yair Rodriguez,
No, 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 no.
that fight
Sorry.
at
Yeah.
first.
Um,
Okay, yeah, I
the
mean that
Korean
was
Zombie fight. Yeah, that was basically what happened with the IR. Just a different angle. Obviously,
yeah,
his was like a 6-12, and Korean Zombie was just getting a little bit overzealous in that
it
fight.
was like a 6-12. That's some wild shit.
Yeah, so I feel like spinning shit is just Korean Zombie's weakness. That he just doesn't like that, man. I mean, he's a guy who rushes in. That's what he does. He moves forward always. He's the Korean Zombie. He's incredible
He
with the
was
way he just.
struggling to pull the trigger a bit though
Yeah,
last night,
yeah, yeah.
especially in the beginning. I think his best bet. He turned up towards the end of the fight, but like it was too little, too late because Ortega still. That's another thing about Brian Ortega. His cardio last night was
Wow.
insanely good.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, a 5 round, war, and he didn't look tired. I mean, that's impressive. That's super impressive. But um, yeah, Zombie like woke up at the like fourth, fifth rounds, and especially the fifth round, like the last few minutes, start really pushing forward and really throwing a lot. But it was too little, too late. Which is very much the story of Lopez and Lomachenko, which I'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, Ortega was just able to see everything. He read him 100%. I mean, he was downloading information that entire fight, and then by the fifth round, when Zombie really wanted to start throwing down, he he knew what was coming. He saw it from a mile away. Um, I just I was super impressed with him. I
He's the full package.
Modelo desperately wants to
Yeah.
start running that ad again. Modelo's like, get Amanda Nunes out of here. She just had a baby. We don't want her anymore. We want Brian Ortega back.
What a story that Modelo can tell from what just happened last night. Wow. Nothing like a good comeback story for some marketing of beer. I love it.
Well, Brian Ortega was given a choice.
He was given a choice. Sit on his futon eating croutons for 17 years, or who the hell did he train with to get this? Because you don't see
Brand new
that.
team.
They must be
This
some killers. I have no idea who they are.
is a brand new team. I'm not entirely sure
No,
either.
I haven't seen
I should
anything
look
on
it
that.
up real quick
He's
and see if I'm familiar with them.
I'm kind of happy though. Before what happened with Korean Zombie's musician friend in that stadium, I was always a big Brian Ortega fan, and I mean I still am. I just think he's kind of an asshole, but most people are. So it's nice to see him come back.
Most people are.
Let's be honest here. This is mixed martial arts. Most people are dicks. That's just the way it is.
I mean, yeah.
Besides someone like DC, who's just pure.
Yo, DC was having a night last night.
He was
Did
having
you?
fun. Yeah, with
Did
Kamzat
you?
and such. You see
Oh
that?
yeah, Kamzat was there sitting next to Uncle Dana. That was
Yeah.
interesting. That's his fucking boy now.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But did you see Ariel tweeted out a video of DC? He was interviewing somebody. I forget who. It was a post-fight interview, and after the interview, he walked directly into a camera. Go look it up.
Is that the one where he's
Yeah.
chasing down the prelim main event winner? I don't remember what his name was. Very difficult name to say. Garut or something.
Oh,
Did
I
you
don't
see
know.
that fight where he had to chase him down? He said, "Interview time, let's go, buddy." He was talking to him like he was a caveman. He's like, "Come on,
No,
buddy."
I don't.
Come
I don't
here."
think I don't think I saw that. But what
Oh,
I
man.
did see was him go face first into a cameraman. That was pretty great.
I
But
love him.
that commentary booth last night I thought was terrific.
Yeah.
DC, Dan Hardy, John Gooden. That was a terrific pairing, or well, I guess it wouldn't be a pairing, trio. As opposed to the top rank boxing commentary booth, which I thought was absolute dog shit. But that's neither here nor there. Who else stuck out to you besides Brian Ortega last night? And why was it Jessica Andrade?
Oh man, that was brutal. That body shot. Oh,
Yeah.
The way
I'll be honest,
Chookagian-
I was like, whatever.
I thought it was really cool how she tried to play it off. She did a 360 and was just moonwalking
She did a
backwards.
terrible job playing it off.
I mean, compared to just falling over, I think she did a decent job. Most
I
people would have
suppose,
just
yeah.
collapsed at that point, but she did a nice little 360, moonwalking backwards. Then obviously Andrade was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna capitalize on this really quick," and then the fight was over. But yeah,
It was an impressive flyweight debut.
Yeah,
I'll
I
give her
like that.
The
She
problem
looked
is you know what's waiting at the end of that road.
I do. It's not a pretty picture.
And
Not at all.
I mean, she's Valentina. Her best hope is that she's 5'1.5", and she won't get head kicked into another dimension because Valentina will get her leg will go soaring right over. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't like that fight one bit. For Andrade, I mean, if you're Valentina, you're like, yeah, I'll take that fight, no problem. Because I mean, I'm not saying Valentina typically underestimates her opponents, but I don't give Andrade a good shot at all in that fight. I'm not trying to sound like a Debbie Downer over here, but
no, you can't deny that what's waiting for her is much better than her. Let's just say it. It's Valentina. She beats pretty much everybody.
yeah.
She's a spectacle. But does she
How about-
beat Brian Ortega?
I mean,
I don't know.
Brian Ortega was given a choice,
I
like
don't
Ella
know.
told you. How about Jimmy Crute?
Dude, I was just about to mention Jimmy Crute and how he
That
murdered
first
that
round
man.
KO.
Holy
Yeah.
fuck. Wow. Jimmy is just he's on a tear. He just
Yeah.
walks in the octagon, knocks people out, and just leaves. He's just a killer.
How many fights has he had in the UFC?
He's had a good bit.
Two.
That's
Had
it?
two, I think.
Maybe I'm thinking
No,
he was
never
on
mind,
Contender, right?
Never mind. He's had 4. I believe he was on Contender. Yeah.
But this is a guy that you got to watch out for. Oh my god.
Mhm.
His nickname is the Brute, and that's kind of what I would describe him as. He's a juggernaut that just
The
walks people
Brute
down.
Crute. You want to know my favorite thing about him?
Hmm.
He's got a Resident Evil tattoo on his chest.
does? I know why you're
Yeah,
biased now.
that's the fucking Umbrella Corporation insignia
Okay, so
he's got.
He has 6 fights in the UFC. One of them
Oh,
being
jeez. I
on
was
the
super
Contender
wrong, I'm
series,
sorry.
so 5. But he won 5 out of 6, but he lost to Misha Serkinov. Submission Peruvian necktie. Oof, that'll catch someone.
He
That's a
called
rough
out
one.
Nikita Krylov, which I thought was a really cool
Yeah,
call out. I always
yeah.
like when guys like are able to really pick good opponents and not just be like,
Conor
yeah, I
McGregor.
fought twice in the UFC. Yeah, Conor McGregor, give me a title shot. It's like, all right, dude, whatever. I like when they it's actually a good pick. This is a good pick for him. That's
Yeah.
a perfect
This
opponent.
is the fans fighter. Think about it. A guy who just plants his feet and just throws bombs. Like, oh, this is
Do you
what
hear that?
people love. What?
Okay, there was just banging above me. We have these people that live upstairs from us, and like
They're having a party.
they're the worst humans I've ever encountered.
Get him on the
I've never
cast.
met them, but I hear them and I despise every bit of them. Um,
Send Brian
you,
Ortega up there.
he was given a choice. But yeah, you're right. Jimmy Crute is a fan's fighter. I mean, the guy's he's going to be a huge fan favorite if he's not already, given his style, his personality. He appeals to the Just Bleed, the Just Bleed demographic really well. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what's next for him at light heavyweight, because light heavyweight opened up a lot in this last few months, given the John Jones vacation, and then
The
the
vacation.
the John Jones vacation, and the Jan Blachowicz rise to power. So yeah,
You
I
know,
don't think Jimmy Crute is going to be fighting Jan really anytime soon. I mean, I think you got to give him like 2 or 3 more fights before that. But um, if he just keeps going in there and starching people, how are you going to deny him Jan Blachowicz, right? Now, I think Jan picks him apart, but we'll see. Guys still got a lot of
yeah.
evolution to make. I think
Well,
he is he is evolving every time, which is terrific for him.
what I didn't know is that Thiago Santos knocked out Jan Blachowicz last year. Right? Am I thinking of that correctly?
I've,
We were talking about Jan Blachowicz the one time. I completely forgot about that when we were saying who he should fight next. But that's gonna be a fun fight. Thiago Santos rematch Jan Blachowicz. Oh, for the
Yeah,
title.
I
Oh
think
man.
that is the light heavyweight title fight to
Yeah.
make right now.
But
It's either
yeah,
oh wait, isn't
he's fighting.
Santo Glover? He's
Yeah,
supposed to fight Glover.
but
Yeah.
you can kind of make that prediction. But of course, it's MMA, so we'll see. But back to Jimmy Crute, though, I do feel like I agree with you. I think he's going to be someone to watch, and I'm really excited to see him. He's just this. He's got such a lovable face, doesn't he? He just looks. I don't know. He looks like an elf or something, like a troll. You know what I mean?
I'm sure he would really appreciate that.
He's got like not, all right, maybe not. Maybe not a troll, but he has this expression on his face
He's
always,
got a
like
bit
he's
of a
just
baby
sad.
face.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
baby face. That's perfect. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you came up with that instead of me just calling him a troll.
I mean, I didn't come up like that's a very common expression.
He's Australian. Wow.
Yeah, he
I
is.
forgot
He
about that.
is. He is. My personal fight of the night. Well, okay. Maybe not my fight of the night, but one of my favorites, aside from Ortega and Zombie, was Claudio Silva and James Krause. I thought this was
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
This was a really fun fight to watch, a really interesting chess match. Well, it was a little more one-sided than that. The chess match implies, I guess, more of a war. This really wasn't that. Well, it was a bit of a war. I
Yeah,
keep going
Silva.
back and forth.
He put up a fight.
Yeah, he had his moments.
Yeah.
It was a great example. James Krause is just an extremely intelligent fighter, and he was landing the same freaking shot every single time. He was just backing up a little bit, letting Claudio throw some big looping crazy strike that was totally telegraphed and completely missed its mark, and then he was just landing a straight right down the pipe. Just super precise striking. Great counter punching. I really enjoy watching James Krause because, he's one of the few examples we have of a coach, not just a corner man, but a coach also being a fighter, like he does
Yeah.
both. And you could see it in the way he performs. I mean, he fights smart, right? He fights like the way he tells his fighters to fight. He takes his own advice. Uh, just a really, I think I really do think he's one of the most brilliant minds in the game right now. Like, just between the way he performs and between the way he coaches all his fighters, you see him on Contender a lot, coaching these guys. Just a super high fight IQ. He reminds me almost of like a Dominic Cruz or a I don't know who are some of the other smartest guys in the game. Would you say
Paul
besides
Felder.
Paul Felder? Nah,
He's
dude,
up there.
Paul Felder's a fighter through and through.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
true.
no,
Yeah.
he's not a stupid guy. He's just like he's
He's
not Dom
calculated,
Cruz
but he's
level
not
of
Dominic Cruz. Yeah.
Dominic Cruz is one of those guys that's so smart that he's an asshole to everybody.
Dude, he would have been going off about ring rust last night if he was on the commentary booth. Oh my
Dude,
god.
I heard he's writing a case study on Brian Ortega.
Oh
That's
boy.
not true. I'm joking, but I
That
could
would
see
be
him doing
awesome
that.
if he did. I would love that.
Like a scholarly
Yeah,
article
I would read that like
that you have to
through
pay
and
for
through.
to download the PDF.
Oh shit. You didn't mention that part. Come on. Well, link to our Patreon to pay for this in the description. But
Another really fun war last night was Thomas Almeida and Jonathan Martinez.
I didn't get a chance to watch that, but I heard it was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
I'd go back and watch it if you have a chance. Martinez, he put up a really good fight. So did Almeida. It was Almeida's coming back fight. He's been away for a bit, and didn't have the evolution that Brian Ortega has had, but still put up a decent fight. It was really entertaining.
I mean, who has that kind of comeback story that Brian Ortega has? That just doesn't happen. That's a rare thing.
Fun fact about Brian Ortega. I don't know if you heard this, but he was given a choice.
He actually had me there. I thought you were going to say something like legitimate. And then I realized, he's going back to it.
We don't do legitimacy on here. We're just meme lords.
The memest of the lords, yes.
Now,
your favorite fight.
My personal highlight of the night was Teofimo Lopez and Vasiliy Lomachenko on Top Rank. Probably the only Top Rank fight worth watching in the last 6 months. You didn't watch it, did you? It's okay if you didn't.
See, Kyle, I have taste, all right? I don't watch boxing. No, I didn't watch it. Purely because I didn't even realize it was happening. I thought it was on pay-per-view. I didn't realize it was on ESPN Plus.
Okay.
So I completely just put it out of my mind. I'm not gonna bother looking for a stream or paying for it.
Yeah. No, that's understandable. Yeah. Well, fun fact. Not that I would ever endorse or support anything like this, but boxing streams are typically very, very easy to find. Just saying.
A little birdie told you that, correct?
A little birdie.
The littlest of birdies.
The littlest of birdies told me that illegal boxing pay-per-view streams are very easy to find.
Did you say illegal?
I would never do something like that because I follow the law like a good American. But yeah, this was free on ESPN Plus or just regular ESPN too. I think just regular cable, which I thought was a terrific choice by them.
Yeah,
like, hey, take one of your biggest cards of the year. Well, it wasn't really a big card. It was a big main event. Take one of your biggest main events of the year, and let everyone watch it. I thought that's very smart, especially when Top Rank is getting next to no viewership right now. Top Rank's cards are not getting watched. Like, you can go look up some of these statistics. Like, it's bad. I think the idea is like, oh, well, there's a pandemic right now and sports are kind of all over the place, so if we put on fight cards, everyone will watch it. Everyone and their brother will watch it. Nope. Not if you're Top Rank, because they've been just putting out some poo-poo content.
Yeah.
But this was great. This was I watched the first 2 fights leading up to this. They were fine. But this main event was terrific. You had this young stud, Teofimo Lopez, who, power puncher, very aggressive, and coming up against Vasiliy Lomachenko, who is pound for pound number 1 and considered by many to be, well, up until last night, considered to be the greatest boxer in the world right now. very, defensive, smart, high fight IQ, great footwork, great movement. Actually did traditional Ukrainian dance for a long
Ooh,
time. That's how he got his awesome footwork, which also like our very own Valentina Shevchenko. When I say our very own, I mean MMA because I'm speaking primarily to an MMA audience, including you.
that's
So
me.
that's you. So basically the story of this fight was much like that of Brian Ortega and Korean Zombie, where you thought one guy was going to just absolutely outclass the other. So in this case, you thought Lomachenko was just going to absolutely outclass Lopez because Lopez is uh, prior to this fight considered to be more of a brawler, a little reckless, not as intelligent of a fighter as someone like Loma, right? So, but then you get in there and Loma takes the first round off. Okay. He's being patient. He's waiting for he's waiting for Lopez to slip up. He's waiting for Lopez to get tired. He's downloading information. He does the same thing the second round, takes the second round off. Okay, this is not unusual for Lomachenko, right? He typically starts late. There's 12 rounds in this fight. He is not going to come out swinging the first two. But then the same thing happens in the third round.
Oh
And the
boy.
same thing happens in the fourth round.
Oh
And the
man.
fifth round.
Oh
And the
man.
sixth round. And the seventh
Oh
round.
man.
And then the eighth round, he turns up a little bit and starts fighting. But guess what? It's too late because for 7 rounds, Lopez completely outclassed him, outboxed him, was working the body, working the head. It was terrific boxing. It wasn't brawling, it was boxing. He looked outstanding. And the commentators, because boxing commentators are dog shit, were just like, "Oh, well, Loma's just waiting. He's waiting for him to get tired. He's just waiting. He's waiting for his shot." It's like, bro, this fight is like nearly over and he's done nothing. It
Yeah.
was a little similar to Ortega and the Zombie, where the Zombie, you know, he took the first round off, but then he also took the second round off, and then the third round. And then you're saying to yourself, "Wait a minute, is he ever going to get going? When is he going to start?"
He did in
Right?
the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, he did, and when it was way too little, way too
Yeah.
late. Same exact thing happens with Lopez and Lomachenko. Lomachenko starts going in the last few rounds, but Lopez is doing a terrific job at evading, rolling with the punches, and still throwing some nasty jabs out there, especially to the body. He was doing terrific body work. And by the end of it, he wins unanimous decision, shocks the world. Nobody expected it. Nobody expected. I think if anyone thought Lopez was going to win this fight, it was going to be via, brutal knockout in the first or second round. He was going to have to go in there and rush Lomachenko and put him out right away because there was no way he was going to outbox him for 12 rounds. He doesn't have the fight IQ. He doesn't have the cardio. He doesn't have the skill set. He proved everyone wrong, dude. Proved everyone wrong. On one judge's scorecard, it was what was it? A 111 a 111 to 119. What the hell was it? Dude, there were some wonky ass scorecards.
Yeah, I heard about the wonky scoring.
Wonky scorecards.
Yeah.
109 to 19. I don't know, but I can't do math. But either way, um the right guy won, and it was awesome to see. The dude was so happy. He has unified the lightweight championship now, and it was super great to see. I don't really know what was up with Lomachenko. He just seemed off, like he couldn't get going. Much like Zombie. Zombie just couldn't get going, it seemed, throughout his fight. And by the time he decided to really turn up, it was too little, too late. So to you and other MMA fans, I do encourage you to go watch this fight if you can, because it's the kind of boxing match that certainly appeals to an MMA
Yeah.
mindset. For the first few rounds, it's a clever chess match. It's Robert Whitaker and Darren Till for the first few rounds. Then the last few rounds, it's a fucking brawl. It's Dustin Poirier, Dan Hooker. It gets intense, and it's really good. And both guys look super impressive. I mean, especially Lopez, obviously, looks super impressive. Like it's awesome striking to watch. Just really brilliant boxing. It's one of my. I don't watch a ton of boxing, and it's probably one of my favorite boxing matches I've ever watched, next to like Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder 2, right? Where you're just watching one guy completely outclass the other, and
Yeah.
it's really shocking and spectacular and cool. But yeah, I always like to watch some of these boxing organizations and hear and see how they stack up to UFC in terms of in terms of presentation, production value, commentary, all these other things. And Top Rank, I think, put on a good show. Their commentary was awful, but that's not unusual for boxing. The commentary is typically pretty awful. But they put on a really nice show. I mean, the entrances for Loma and Lopez, super intense, super exciting. And then circling all of this back to MMA, one of the biggest highlights for me with Loma was he is signed with I don't know, I still don't know how you say it. Is it Venom? Is that how you say their brand name?
I've
Is it
heard people
Venom?
say Venom. I don't know which one it is, because I've heard like Brazilians say Venom and then Americans say Venom. So maybe
Okay.
it's just a pronunciation thing with their languages. So
We're gonna
I'm gonna
say
say either.
We're going to say Venom for now.
Yeah.
But anyway, Venom makes Loma's custom fight kits, his custom fight gear. And dude, it looks sick. Go and look up pictures just from last night and look at like how he was decked out. He had like these Matrix trunks, like 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 the green code pattern that Matrix used. Like that, and then his gloves are like bright neon green. It looked terrific, and it made me really excited about Venom signing with the UFC, because I hope they do custom fight kits like that for some of these bigger guys, or everyone. I mean, I don't think they will, but it would be nice, because these trunks, they look so cool, and I'm tired of this bullshit idea that like, oh, we have to make it look like uniform so it's professional with Reebok. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. Make it look cool. Make it look visually appealing. Like Chuck Liddell. Like, remember how cool Chuck Liddell used to look with his trunks? Those Iceman trunks. Remember how cool Mirko Cro Cop used with those Croatian trunks? That's how Loma looked last night. He looked awesome. Now, granted, he lost in pretty, spectacular
I'm
fashion.
seeing them though. They look really good.
They look awesome,
Yeah.
dude. And they make a lot of good shit, Venom. So I'm excited to see what they bring to the UFC. Get Reebok the fuck out of here, man. Get them out. Get them
It's
out. Their
Reebok.
stuff's-
They make some nice stuff, but it is extremely boring. It's like
It's
office
so
attire,
plain.
I mean, I guess that's
So
what Dana was
plain.
going for. He's like, I want to show people that MMA is civilized, so take these civilized
No.
shorts. But
Stupid.
I think we're past that now. We
Let's
know.
look cool.
Yeah,
Make them look cool.
Yeah, he's proved his point. Now we get to the fun stuff,
Yeah.
like Venom or Venom.
Whatever it is.
You get the idea. But yeah, I do like that.
I understand we don't want them to look like friggin' walking advertisements like they used to, like NASCAR, Like some of them used to look really ridiculous, but at least give these fighters in their fight kits some identity, right? Like you look at Loma's stuff last night, you're like, oh, there's some uniqueness to that design, right? There's some identity behind it. I want to see that, even if it means putting some ads on their trunks and stuff. Like, I don't care. I mean, I definitely don't care, especially if it gives the fighters money. Like, I certainly don't give a shit if they, plaster yourself with ads if it's going to make you more money. I don't give a shit.
We can't ignore the fact that the octagon is plastered in ads as well.
True.
It doesn't make a difference if it's on the fighter or not. If you're looking at a UFC fight, you're gonna see ads on.
Yeah.
Either way, so I say
right.
give it to the fighters. Yeah. I don't know.
Did you see they spelled Gaethje's name wrong?
Oh yeah. Now, if they're gonna spell someone's name wrong, it's gotta be Justin Gaethje. I don't blame them. But how could you not at least check if it's your job?
Yeah, that's something.
I remember when they did. It was like Gibbler, Gibbler Burns.
Gibbler. No, that was Melendez.
Oh, it was okay. Yeah. Gilbert
Yeah.
Melendez.
This was it was misspelled on the cage though.
Oh
Did you see
man,
that? I'm not
I
talking
didn't
about
know that.
his fight kit. No, dude.
Uh,
It was they were like the foam posts they
yeah.
have at each corner of the octagon. Um, they were advertising Habib and Justin, and they spelled his name was misspelled on the ad.
Oh,
Yeah,
if you were working there, that wouldn't have happened.
of
We
course
need
not.
you on production.
Yeah, you
I'm
do.
gonna
You need me.
call Dana right now and let him know. Like, look, you can't be spelling names wrong. You just lost your whole audience. Like, no one's gonna watch MMA anymore. Fuck. Ugh.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have noticed unless someone pointed it.
Yeah.
Well, Justin pointed it out on
I mean,
social
it's
media.
that's
He
such
was,
a weird name, dude.
yeah. He said something. He was like, "Why don't we just call? Why don't we just make it Habib versus Justin instead?" Because they don't even bother with Nurmagomedov. It's way too long to put
How
on
did he
the
pronounce it? I
who
remember that one video I was referencing
Habib.
to you about Habib saying his own name. He's like,
I think
Habib Nurmagomedov, and I was like, what?
I think it's Habib Nurmagomedov.
It's different than that too. Unless he was just really emphasizing it and making it more like dramatic so you can understand it. I don't know. But I literally didn't understand what he was saying. That's how like foreign it was to me. So, but who cares?
Fights next week, brother.
Oh my god, I didn't even
Next
think
week,
about that. Oh,
biggest lightweight fight in
that's
the world
good. That's
since
really good.
Habib Connor.
I know you're gonna love watching that one.
All right, that's not funny.
Kyle decided to join some kind of film production team and start producing films, if you know what I'm saying. Why don't you tell him, Kyle?
I mean, you made it sound like you were alluding to something, but that's literally it. Yes, that's exactly what I did, and now I'm not available. But
I was
I'll
alluding
watch.
to adult film.
I mean, that's not true, but I mean, I wouldn't be opposed, but
I
yeah.
heard, is the ice cream man at your...
All right, I gotta get going.
All right,
Let's
brother.
wrap up.
This has been
Go
Caffeinated
watch
Combat.
Loma Lopez. Don't be a loser.
Lomachenko versus Lopez on UFC Fight Pass.
No, that's not where you go.
We'll see you guys next week for Gaethje and Nurmagomedov.
Yep, that's his name.
Nurmagomedov. Goodbye.